We are continuing our coverage of the January 6th committee. It's set to hold its next hearing tonight in prime time, and of course we will take it all live for you. It's expected to focus on former President Trump's actions as our nation's capital was under siege. Let's bring in Stephanie Rawlings-Blake, former Democratic mayor of Baltimore, also ABC News contributor Sarah Isgur, former Trump administration official, for more on this, what we can expect. So Sarah, you know, Republicans gave a warm welcome to former Vice President Mike Pence when he returned to Capitol Hill yesterday. Is that surprising you at all, given Trump's hold over the GOP?
What's interesting is that Vice President Mike Pence really now going head-to-head with Donald Trump as we head into these final few months of the 2022 midterms. They were both in Arizona as well, now both in D.C. Mike Pence not holding back any punches, and the Republican elected members in Congress certainly giving him a warm welcome. We're seeing some movement in polls as well as Donald Trump loses some altitude with Republican primary voters, but I wouldn't read too much into it. He's still close to 50% at this point in those pre-2024 polls.
Stephanie, let me ask you about these text messages that apparently were deleted by the Secret Service. What do you make of this? Do you think this was intentional?
I think it's hard to look at this in any other way. In order for this to happen, I heard it talked about winning the lottery on the same day you're hit by lightning. Those are the odds. The Secret Service has a lot to answer for, and the political nature that it seems to have right now is very, very concerning. I want to hear more, and I hope we hear more from Mike Pence from his concerns when he was being shuffled around on January 6th. His concerns about how the Secret Service would treat him as the president basically called him a traitor to the country.
And Sarah, you know, Attorney General Merrick Garland is making it clear that he will hold accountable every person who's criminally responsible here for this assault on the Capitol. At this point, do you expect former President Trump or any Republican lawmakers to be charged by the Justice Department?
You know, when it comes to the Department of Justice, they don't confirm or deny investigations or who's the subject or target of those investigations, but you can read into the actions that they've taken. Obviously, they've brought charges against hundreds of people who were at the Capitol on January 6th, but we've also seen them take very serious investigative measures against, for instance, Jeffrey Clark, who was trying to become acting attorney general, who was at the Department of Justice in the lead up to January 6th. Professor Eastman, someone who was giving legal advice to the president. We haven't seen them take particular investigative measures against the former president. I think at this point, incitement, you know, what the president did on January 6th is not probably the focus of the Department of Justice, but rather those fraudulent electors and whether that slate of electors that was sent to the National Archives to Congress knowing that they had not been certified by any state, whether that meets the standard for fraud and whether the president, in fact, was involved.
All right, and finally, Stephanie, what questions do you still need answered with regard to Trump's actions on January 6th?
No, so I don't need convincing. What I'm concerned about those people who believe that the election was stolen. What do they need here to convince them that this was not a stolen election, that this was a president who was out of control?
We're having a little bit of a hard time with your connection, Stephanie. Forgive me. I think you probably realize that. I don't know if we can kind of work on that connection. But Sarah, you know, okay. Sarah, finally, as we go into tonight, you know, it seems like we have already learned so much. I mean, from the testimony so far of Trump's inner circle, the video that exists, you know, of the speech there at the Ellipse, what we saw happen afterwards, there seems to be so much evidence. It's clear what happened that day. But the bottom line is, you know, Donald Trump hasn't ever been held accountable for anything during his presidency and after. So really, at the end of the day, what is the point of these committee hearings and especially the one that we are going to see tonight in prime time? And can it really make any type of difference with regard to holding people accountable, including the former president? Or is this just to get a message out, a narrative out, a story out for the American people to see?
So I think it's important to think about this separately. The legal question, which is what's being pursued by the Department of Justice, versus the purpose of the January 6th committee. And I think you're exactly right. The president obviously was not convicted of the impeachment charges brought against him after January 6th. But tonight we're going to see the political case made, that impeachment case made again on his dereliction of duty that night.
All right, Stephanie Rawlings-Blake and Sarah Isgur, appreciate you both. We will have full coverage of tonight's hearing starting at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC News Live.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.